So here we are, lesson 58, algebra 2, lead coefficients, and more on completing the square. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and start with completing the square. We have done completing the square when you had something like this. Alright, so just let me go over the completing the square again. We have learned two ways of solving equations that are quadratic like this, meaning they have a 2 up here in the exponent position. One is we make two binomials, we put numbers in here, and if we did the FOIL method, we get that back. Okay, I just made these numbers up. They're not going to work. So that was one way. Sometimes that doesn't work, though. Sometimes you can't solve it that way. Like this one, for instance. If I put an x here and an x here, two numbers multiplied together give me 5, added gives me 3. My only chances are 5 and 1, because those are the only two numbers that multiply together give me 5. But it doesn't matter how I combine 5 and 1, I can't get 3. So that doesn't work. It doesn't mean there's no answer. It just means that that particular method doesn't work. And that's why we came up with what is called completing the square, where we did this, took this, brought it over here, took half of that, and then squared it, and added it here, and added it here. Okay? And once we did that, we would take this x, put a squared sign, put this sign right here, and we would take the square root of that, and that equals, and we'd add these. This would be negative 20 over 4 plus 9/4. Had to get common denominator, so I had to change that. Negative 5 to that. We get x minus 3/2. Quantity squared equals negative 20 plus 9 is negative 11 over 4. Okay, and then we took the square root of both sides, and this became a plus or minus, and this became x minus 3/2 equals plus or minus the square root of negative 11 over 4. I'm going fast because this is old stuff. Add 3/2 to both sides. Can't have a radical down there because that is the same thing as square root of 4 is 2, so I'm just going to replace that with a 2, and that is my answer. Okay? That's what we've done before. That's old stuff. I don't even remember what lesson it was in, but that was a while back when we were doing completing the square. Alright, what we're going to do now is make a little bit of a change here, and what we've done before is our lead coefficient. If you remember, a lead coefficient is the number in front of the x squared, has always been a 1. Well, what happens if it's another number? Big changes take place there. Alright, we cannot complete the square if there's a number there, so we have to get rid of it. So what we do to get rid of it is we divide each term by that number. And I get x squared, because those cancel, plus 3/4 x minus 3/4, 0 over 4 is 0. So I end up getting that. Okay? Now I don't have a number there. Now I can go and do the regular completing the square. Whoops. So I've got x squared plus 3/4 x, and I'm going to put that 3/4 over here because I added it to both sides to get rid of it. And now I'm looking for this term here. Okay. Now if you remember right, that third term here is found by taking half of this and squaring it. Alright, now if you remember what I told you before, when you want to take half of a fraction, all you do is double the denominator, and it becomes half. So you don't even have to think. You just look at 3/4 and say, oh, half of that's 3/8. If I have 3/11ths, oh, half of that is 3 over 22. You just double the denominator. It always, always, always works. So, take half of this here and square it. So that would be squared. So that would be 3 times 3 and 8 times 8. And don't forget to add it to the other side as well. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Alright, so that gives me that. That doggone 3/8 won't go away. There we go. Okay, now let's make our parenthesis. Make a squared. Put an X there. That sign there goes here. Then we take the square root of that. Or half of that. It's the same number. It doesn't matter which one you do. Equals. And now we've got to add these puppies together. I've got to make that 3/4 into a 64. So what did I do to go from 4 to 64? Multiplied it by 16. So this is going to be 16 times 3 is 48. So this gives me x plus 3/8 quantity squared equals 57 over 64. That is not pretty. But I haven't really done anything weird or hard. It's just, whoops, let's get this stuff out of here. Okay, so this is where we ended up. Let's continue on here. Because of this squared there, we're going to have to take the square root of both sides. Don't forget the plus or minus. X plus 3/8 equals plus or minus. I'm going to split these up. You always have to split them up because you can't have a denominator in the bottom. So x plus 3/8 equals plus or minus square root of 57 over 8. Now we need to bring that over. I'm not going to have you check these. That would be a mess to try to get you to check those. Okay, well let's do one more and call it good. Alright, good. New page here, 58.2 example. We have 5x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. Let's get rid of the 5. So I have x squared minus 1/5 x minus 2/5 equals 0 over anything is 0. Let's move that. Okay, half of that. Again, double the denominator. Half of the doubling the denominator is 10, and then we're going to square it. So 1 times 1 is 1, 10 times 10 is 100, and then we're going to add the exact same thing over here. Alright, now, 2 parentheses. This sign goes here, squared, and x, square root of 1 is 1, square root of 100 is 10. That equals, I'm going to make that into 100. So 5 times 20 is 100, 2 times 20 is 40. Okay, so we've got x minus 1 over 10, quantity squared equals 41 over 100, square root of both sides, plus or minus, x minus 1/10, and I'm going to split these up again. Okay, alright, let's move this stuff up. Do it in red. Let's move the 1/10 over, plus or minus the square root of 41 over 10. Okay, and I am done there. So that's pretty much it. The whoa, I didn't want to draw that. I wanted to move it. Let's see if we can move stuff down here so we can kind of get a look here of what's going on. Let's go clear up here to the top. The only thing we did here that was new is if there was a number, a coefficient in front of the x squared, we divided each term by that coefficient in order to get rid of the number in front of there. Okay? So that is all we did here that was new. And then we did the same old process. So, gosh, rather than me doing some extra problems to show you how to do these, I would just go back and watch the video, because these are the exact same thing. I mean, they don't get harder than that. I mean, it doesn't matter what they do. I mean, they may get weird numbers that you can't take the square root of 100, you know, down here, or that kind of thing. But as long as you follow the rules, you shouldn't have any problem with them. So that's it for lesson 58.